So, you've been tasked with building an organic in Minecraft. What does that even mean? Well, let's go check out some examples. An organic build, in my experience, is a build that is usually something found in a more natural area, whether that be plants or animals or other things. Anything that isn't made up entirely of straight lines or boxes or squares. So lots of swirls and circles and ovals, triangles even. An organic build can be anywhere from as small as Little Biscuit here to as big as this giant holdfast forest with Sleeping Empty right here. So now that we know what an organic is, where do we start? First of all, you do not have to start with colors. I usually try to build my organics in stone first. If it looks good with one flat color, then it will look good with color. And before you go just spamming blocks around trying to figure out where the feet are and where the head is and all that jazz, pull back for just a second and try to think of what you're going to be building. One way I like to do this as an illustrator is start with what is called a thumbnail sketch. So a thumbnail sketch, for those of you who don't know, is a very, very rough sketch of what you are going to be illustrating. So it's gonna be messy, it's gonna be ugly, but it doesn't have to be pretty, it just has to get the point across. Let's build ourselves a thumbnail in Minecraft. So for this build, I wanted to make a little rabbit. So I'm gonna make the thumbnail build right over here out of the way. I think it's gonna be something like this. Just sitting down with its round body. Gonna have some arms there and then a rounder head here. Ears, except I want this one to be crooked, so it's gonna go that direction. So while this does look a bit like a rabbit, it's not quite what I'm looking for. So I'm gonna widen this a bit, make the legs over here instead, round out those back legs and give him a little bit more of a bottom. And the front legs will be somewhere around here. Kind of gets the point across a little better, but because this is smaller, I'm going to let myself use some stairs and slabs, and maybe even some walls to get the point across a little clearer. Shaving this off, rounding the back a bit more, and now that I've done that, I can see that this head needs to go further forward, and I think that gets the point across a lot better than it did before. All right. Now that we have our thumbnail down, we can transfer it over to what is going to be our skeleton. So the basic shapes that I can see here is more of a square for the head and what seems to be a fatter rectangle at the bottom. The legs are going to be right there, which means that a single space on that thumbnail will likely be 1, 2, 3 blocks in this case. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then the body will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Go. And then the back legs, 1, 2, 3. Somewhere along these lines. This back end is going to have to hang out just a bit more. There we go. That way we don't just have a flat back end. And I think the belly's going to be hanging out a bit more like this. And then this guy is going to round out to the back, which means the head will be somewhere around here. Let's see if this is proportionate. Yes, I think that's good. This is something that I can work off of now. Another thing that you need to know about organics is that they rely a lot on circles. How do you build a circle in Minecraft? Well, there's a lot of different images that you can use to find out how to build circles in Minecraft, but the easiest way to do it is go 3, and then 2, and then 1, and then go in reverse. 1, and then 2, and then 3. And then just keep going with that. And if we go up, we've got ourselves a circle. So the rule of organics, if you have a 2, if you're going to be expanding off of that, you can only expand off of it by 1 or 3. And when I say expand off of it, I mean diagonally. You can't have a 2 and then a 1 and then a 3, but then you just have a line like that. So when you're going diagonal, don't just go 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. Otherwise, that's just a straight line. And we're trying to avoid those. So instead of going straight diagonal like that, we'll go in a diagonal in a more subtle way. 1 and then 2 and then 3. Just to add that subtle curve, don't just go 1, 1, 1. Go 2, 1, 2, and then continue from there. So let's try shaping this guy out a little bit. I'm gonna start with his belly and curve it out a little bit here. Go, and as you can see, it's very flat here. So to fix that, we're just gonna add another layer here, and already it looks like that belly is more curved. And instead of adding just another layer here to make that look more curved, instead, take away these corners and step back. You see, that looks rounder already. So instead of having just these straight lines that we were using as a guide, get rid of those corners and take a look at how much rounder that looks already. So I can't help but notice that these legs are very skimpy, but as a reference, we're gonna need the back legs. So let's mess around with that a little bit. So I can already tell that this is not gonna be necessarily proportionate, so I'm gonna shave this off a bit. I say this every video, do not be afraid to tear down what you've already made, especially if you know that it's gonna look better. Yes, I like that better. All right, and that means that this body is gonna have to be a bit taller to compensate for how big I made the legs. Let's make this body a bit bigger. Again, using that rounding method, avoiding corners when we can. And I'm gonna move this head up. This body needs to be leaning forward more. So let's compensate for that and let this guy lean in just a little bit here, adding his shoulders, making that a bit more round. And again, we just did exactly what I told you not to do, which is that 1, 1, and then into the 3, which we don't want. So let's change this up. Does that look more rabbit-like? Yeah, that looks a bit more rabbit-like. And I'm seeing a problem here. Right along this edge here, these need to be rounded. And that is where our next portion is going to be coming in, which is stairs. Stairs and slabs will help round out any build any day. You're going to see me doing this a lot, adding those weird corner stairs to the edges just to make that round a bit more prominent. Stair and stair. In fact, I think we can get rid of these stairs and just let these bits hang up a bit more to make that round look even more round. Yeah, I like that. Okay, cool. So if any of your curves feel a bit too blocky like this, adding a stair or a slab will make that curve so much more soft and a lot more organic. Especially if you have a curve on the edge here that needs to round out a bit more. Adding walls like that will also help. I tend to use slabs on flat surfaces like this on the tops of things, and then I use stairs on the sides of things for more subtle curves. Another thing that you can use is forced perspective. So I just put walls in there to add some forced shading back there. You can also use stairs or even some darker colored blocks like this for some forced perspective, but it will continue to look like that leg is just right here and that is just shading, even though they're on the same plane. But for now, we're just doing stone stuff, so I'm gonna do walls. So now that we've got the basic shape of our rabbit body down, oh, I forgot his tail. Now we can move on to one of my favorite parts, which is adding dynamic movement. So as you can see on my thumbnail build over there, one of his ears is flapped over to the side. We're gonna be putting that here, that ear right here, and we're gonna do our 2 and then 1 and then 2 and then 1, and he's got one little crooked ear. I'm gonna fatten that up a little bit there. Then his other ear here, round it out just a little bit like that. Stare there, and ear, and this guy's gonna be a little crooked this direction. And then round it out like that. There we go. Got a rabbit with some crooked ears. And let's pull out his nose just a bit more of a muzzle. There we go. And then we can sneak some eyes in back here by breaking these 2 blocks. And we've got ourselves a good base for a rabbit boy. Make his face fluffier. Yeah, he needs more fluff on his face. Stairs and slabs are really good for making fluff, especially if you just layer them like this or like this. In fact, let's add a little more fluff to his chest while I'm at it. The andesite walls make him look like he's wearing suspenders. I kind of want to run with that. On to the next part of our building, which is color. This guy back here was kind of based off of the rabbit from Alice in Wonderland, so let's embrace that. When it comes to choosing colors for your organic builds, it's usually best to go with your reference photo and go with more natural colors. In this instance, I'm going to be using some diorite blocks for his coloring, but if I am going to be giving him a little vest, then why not go with some more whimsical colors that you don't usually find on animals? In this case, I'm going to be using teal. Let's grab some prismarine walls and stairs, slabs, and blocks, and accent him with some sort of red. Maybe some red suspenders. And now all we gotta do is color him in. To break the rules sometimes. Not all builds have to be perfect, not all patterns have to stay the same, especially when you're building organics. Be as wild as the animal you are building. Let it be weird, let it be funky, let it be splotchy, let it be imperfect. That's the best thing about organics. Embrace the imperfections. I will be completely honest, this is my second attempt at making this video because the first time my mic decided to cut out. If that doesn't teach you to embrace the imperfections and roll with whatever life is giving you, then I don't know what does. I said this before and I will say it again. Dance with the difficulty. Don't fight it, play around with it, see what it's trying to tell you. In this case, it was telling me to make a white rabbit, so yay. Get particularly weird. Yeah. There we go. And that's my organic. So what did we learn from this video? First of all, start with a plan. Start with something simple and then work your way to the more complicated. Give yourself some guidelines to work from if you can. And if it looks good when you're single color with just full blocks, it will look amazing with the stairs and slabs and all of the other colors that you decide to choose. And lastly, give it some movement, give it some personality. Don't let it be perfect. Let it be weird, let it be imperfect, let it be wild. As always, thank you guys for choosing me to watch today. If this tutorial helped you, then I am very happy it did. And if it didn't, then I hope you were able to find the tutorial that you need. Let me know down in the comments what tutorial you guys want to see next, whether that be a plot structure video, so how certain stories are made, a character video, which would be how I make my characters and how you can make your own characters in Minecraft with personality and colors and skin decks and stuff like that, or a furniture video, which could feature a few of my friends to help me out with that part, because you know your girl is a little bit, I struggle with those sometimes. Make sure you guys go eat some food, drink some water, and go test something outside if you can. Love you guys so much, and I will see you guys in the next video. Goodbye! Love you! What should I name my bunny friend? Sir, what is your name? What do you want your name to be? Oh, I'm floating into the... There we go. Thanks, Axiom.